wife went out of town about a year or so back and left me home by myself to batch, and after 5 straight nights of TV, I was ready to scream. So I called up this beer-drinking buddy of mine. I said, Bill, I ain't having a real good time. He said, well, why don't we go to the wrestling matches and let off a little steam? Well, now, I'd never seen the matches before, and when we reached that arena door, the crowd was already backed up plumb out in the street. Yeah, people were pushing and shoving like cattle. Just getting in line was a heck of a battle. We had to fight like the devil, but we finally got ringside seats. We bought a program as we passed through the door, went to Section D, seats 3 and 4, and about that time, the announcer stepped in the ring. He said, tonight's the greatest card ever been signed. Got a tag team match that'll blow your mind. And then they lowered the lights and the crowd began to scream. He introduced the Spider from parts unknown with his trusted partner, the Blue Cyclone, and they were taking on a team that never had been beat. And then the ref checked them over and the rules were explained, and somebody hollered, the Spider's got a chain! And then in came the Vulture with his manager, Sneaky Pete. Well, they rang the bell and all hell broke loose. My legs were shaking like a rubber goose. I ain't never seen nothing like this, not even in the war. The Cyclone put the Vulture in an airplane spin. Then he body slammed him and he did it again. I swear I didn't see how that old boy could take much more. There was this little old lady right next to me. If she was a day, she was 83, but she raised more sand than any man I've ever seen. Yeah, she screamed and cussed in the Cyclone's face till they carried her out like a basket case. And then the police came and formed a circle round the ring. It was right about then, in the thick of things, my buddy Bill threw a chair in the ring, and that's when I knew we better be heading for the door. Because I saw that Cyclone looking at us, and he's rubbing his head and starting to cuss, and I knew if he caught us, he'd break Bill's neck for sure. Well, now where we parked wasn't too far, and Bill ran so fast he beat me to the car and locked the doors. Wasn't about to let anybody in. And I turned around and the Cyclone was there, and he said, hey, punk, you forgot your chair. And by the look in his eyes, I knew this was the end. So I screamed, watch it, pal. I run a school where I teach karate and jiu-jitsu. But before I could finish, he gave my teeth a rake. Yeah, and then he jumped up real high in the air and both feet caught me with a flying mare. Now tell me again how all that wrestling's fake. And then he body slammed me 2 or 3 times and put his arms around me from behind and pile drive me right there in the hard concrete. Broke both my arms and 3 of my ribs. It's the closest I've ever come to being killed, and that's the last thing I remember for he put me to sleep. Blue Cyclone, he's the meanest wrestler the ring has ever known. He'll make you groan, he'll make you moan, he'll lay you prone and break your bones. He's a blue cyclone, blue cyclone. Blue Cyclone. Well, I woke up in a hospital bed, stars circling around my head, and a plaster cast on just about every bone. But the doctor said I'd be just fine. These things just take a little time, and 3 weeks later, he let me go back home. But I'd laid in bed 3 weeks just thinking, I believe I could have took him if I hadn't been drinking. So the next time we meet, I won't be on a binge. Cause I hadn't been the same since we had that fight, and I see that Cyclone in my dreams at night, and I'll never be satisfied till I get revenge. Well, the first thing my wife said when I got home was, you better leave the Cyclone alone. She said I might not be so lucky next time. So I said to her, beg your pardon, ma'am, but it wasn't you that got body slammed. And then I changed the subject, because I done made up my mind. So I called up Bill, told him my plan. All he said was, right on, man, I'd do the same darn thing if it'd been me. You see, it all happened so fast. When that car door slammed, it must have broke something, cause the door lock's jammed, and you's already down and he's gone time I got free. Bill said, since you're thinking about taking him again, I know two old boys that weigh 210, and they'd wade through wildcats to fight a circle saw. Yeah, they both lift weights, so you know they're mean, and the four of us would make a heck of a team. We might not win, but we'd darn sure fight to a draw. Well, we talked it over, and they said they's willing. They'd stop at nothing short of a killing. Said, host, we'll back you as long as you want to fight. So I checked around at a few of the bars and found out where all the wrestling stars hung out after the matches every Wednesday night. Well, we got there early the following week and got a table where I could see the street and waited for the blue Cyclone to hit the door. Yeah, and after a while he finally appeared, sat down at the bar and ordered a beer, and he barely took a sip before I stepped to the middle of the floor. I yelled, hey, Cyclone, remember me? I'm the guy you put to sleep, only this time you can see I'm not alone. See them two big dudes over there? The Cyclone looked and said, over where? And I turned around, I'm a son of a gun, man's gone. Well, the Cyclone looked at me and grinned. He said, okay, punk, here we go again. Seems to me that some guys never learn. Then he waded through those tables and chairs, put a full Nelson on me and grabbed my hair, and when he threw me to the floor, I'm starting to get concerned. Then came a barrage of judo chops, and I'm begging somebody to call the cops before the Cyclone could commit a mortal crime. I breathed a sigh of relief when I heard that ambulance siren scream, because I'd be dead now if they hadn't gotten there on time. Well, the next thing I remember, they're carrying me in, and the doctor said, oh, no, you again. I said, Doc, how long do you think it'll be this time? He said, boy, if you don't leave the Cyclone alone, one of these days you ain't going home. You'll need the undertaker's services, not mine. Blue Cyclone, he's the meanest wrestler the ring has ever known. He'll make you groan, he'll make you moan, he'll lay you prone and break your bones. He's a blue Cyclone.